This is the fourth video newsletter from Echo.Heritage Association, or the EHA. It's been a while since the last one. The COVID slowed us up a little, but quietly we have still been churning along behind the scenes and making some progress. Because it has been a few years, this video will include a general introduction to Echo, St. Peter's, and our project, and we'll have a look at the governing board and some of the latest work completed towards the objective as well. The whole newsletter video plays in under 10 minutes, so I hope you kick back and enjoy this presentation, our video newsletter, Spring of 2023 issue, news of the Echo.Heritage Association, the EHA. Echo, Oregon is shown in this late 1800s map next to the Umatilla River and on the new railroad. This area has been, among other things, the site of lower crossing of the Umatilla River on the Oregon Trail. The railroad was, of course, very important to settlers moving here, most of them working in agriculture, raising sheep and a few crop. And with them came their faith. And in answer to that, churches created what was known as the chapel car, a touring mission that moved from town to town on the railroad. The Catholic car was christened St. Anthony's, and in December of 1911, the St. Anthony chaplain made this log entry regarding their stay in Echo. He said, "The pastor, Reverend Father Butler, has just let a contract for a beautiful church, which will be the finest structure in the town when completed." Within the next couple of years, the beautiful church was completed, built in the style of native Portuguese immigrants, and at the 1913 dedication, they had the wherewithal to have this photo taken. Now, in Echo, there remain several families who descended from those first parishioners, and Joe, a past director, is one of those descendants.
My name is Joseph Edward Ramus. I'm named after my two granddads, Joseph George Ramus, and on my mother's side, it was Edward Burl Wattenberger. They're some of my earliest memories. The church was dedicated in 1913. It'd be my great aunt, Delphine Ramus, my granddad Joe, who I mentioned, his younger sister. My granddad Joe was the oldest of 5 kids that lived. There were some that died in infancy, and one that drowned in an irrigation ditch at about 3 years of age. But anyway, Delphine was baptized there. She may have been the first baby baptized there. I'm not quite sure. But there's a wonderful photo of Delphine and my granddad Joe Ramus, my granddad's younger brother Roy Ramus, who we call Dutch. I think it's those three and their mother, Mary, standing in that photo.
St. Peter served Catholics well for over years. This next photo was taken in the 50s. Parishioners had come from miles, and this last image is from the 50-year celebration in 1963. It was a fine gathering, but eventually, however, attendance dwindled. The church was not used, and St. Peter's began to fall into serious disrepair. Phyllis Shavelski, Charter Secretary of EHA, a member of Kiwanis, and a member of the local court of Catholic Daughters. Phyllis is the person who came up with the idea that got started what is really the project that we have today.
Probably at least 15 years ago, if not longer. I would walk and I would go down and I'd look at St. Peter's, and I can remember even seeing a little pygmy owl in one of the places where the boards had fallen off the front of the church. And then, like 7 or 8 years ago, our Kiwanis Club needed an event. And we decided to do an Oktoberfest and raise money to stop the degradation of the church.
Well, the Oktoberfest went very well. With mostly volunteer labor and the help of several in-kind contributors, the church was cleaned up and made weather-tight and even bird-proof once again. The Echo.Heritage Association, or EHA, was established in the fall of 2018. IRS-recognized, Oregon-registered, insured, public nonprofit. This next lady, Delia, is a high school librarian, busy mom, member of the Catholic Daughters, and the current secretary for EHA.
So, hello, my name is Delia Doran Fields, and I am a lifelong Hermiston resident. Being a part of the board means that I get to tell my family I'm off to go over to a board meeting or to clean up the church, and their continuous question is, okay, what is the next step? What's the progress? What we're trying to do is preserve and maintain an amazing piece of history and, dare I say, a magical environment there at the church. It's a beautiful place, but it's so much more.
The board has grown from a committee of 4 to the charter board of 7 to 9 members, and now recently decided to expand to 11. These are volunteers who meet regularly, maintain the property, manage activities, and continue to grow into the administrative role that is the role of creating the leadership needed to responsibly control a refurbished treasury.
We go ahead and allocate that.
In these few short years, much has happened to maintain the site and to begin the restorations. Thanks to grant support from Umatilla County Cultural Coalition and others like the Pacific Power Foundation, several antique vestment linens have been restored by our friends in Portland, known as the MPF Conservation. These folks are recognized museum-quality artists of restoration work. Maintenance is mostly volunteer, and with donated materials and equipment taken care inside and out will of course be ongoing. These two were among the ladies who meticulously completed an inventory of the building contents item by item. The circa 1900 pump organ rode to Alabama with our friend Jake, where Stan Kimbrell, with funding from the Wild Horse Foundation of Pendleton, completely restored an organ that now plays very well. Local woodwork was done by Bill Hensel. He reworked the pews with grant money from the Umatilla County Commissioners and the Echo Community Benefit Plan Board. This is Mark Gomulski.
We all are members of the board and associates of this project are very, very enthusiastic to making sure that St. Peter's gets restored, not only just as a church, but we are thinking of adding on an additional building, which would be like a community center, which would be beneficial not just for the citizens and residents of Echo, but for the surrounding communities as well. So we are reaching out to everyone that we can, both small businesses, large businesses, corporations. We are looking to get grants. We are looking to get funding. If you can't participate, your donation is greatly appreciated.
Well, in fact, every donation and newly named contributor is a vote for success. We have a fine builder, engineer, and architect already at work, and with funding from the Kinsman Foundation, they recently completed their initial structural analysis. Union Pacific Foundation funded the recently recorded land survey for the property. We are truly fortunate to have this uniquely beautiful treasure. In coming months, we plan to establish an executive director position, a person who is building programs, managing the restoration, and the creation of a new building. Every contribution counts as a vote for success towards completion of the restoration and the establishment of a community center. We're ready now and ask that you consider lending us if you are able. The sooner the better. And by the way, we accept tradable asset transfers. And remember, tax deduction is the value of the appreciated traded asset, and there is no capital gains. The echo.heritage Association is a 501c3 Oregon registered insured public nonprofit. We want to acknowledge and offer special thanks for the cooperation of our friends at Lady of Angels and the Diocese of Baker. We also want to say thank you to those who stop by most every week just to have a look. And in the vernacular of Catholics, young and old, peace be with you and yours.
Cut.
That's a take.